Welcome to the Tonya Hoffman's Fabulous TV Show. I am Tonya Hoffman, and this is my fabulous TV show, and I always have incredibly fabulous guests like the amazing Miss Eva Angvert Harren. Hey, Eva.
Hey, Tonya, how are you doing?
Fantastic.
Thank you for having me on your show. This is just exciting.
Yay! So we're going to have so much fun. Now, Eva is an expert in stress. Can we all use that? Yes. So we're going to cover all kinds of information today about stress, how to get rid of it, what to do with it, is it a big issue, all those kind of fun things. Also, I want to encourage you to go to my website, Public Speakers with an S, Association, all spelled out, .com, and you can find me, you can find Eva and other incredible speakers to have them come on your shows, maybe your conferences, whatever, because you're going to be wowed by her and then obviously me. So we have a good time. All right, so Eva, tell me, what is the kind of, because we think of stress, right? And we think of this crazy, I'm just like running around and I'm like pulling my hair out. What is stress?
Well, people are talking, and research is showing now too that there is quote unquote good stress and bad stress. It's dependent on how we deal with our situation. If the pressure that we call stress is actually really, really damaging, how we are internally holding on to ourselves as we're, experiencing stress. So what is stress? It's a condition that is overwhelming for some.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I just went through a flood in my home. The whole home was destroyed. My husband had a stroke a couple years ago, and he's having issues with his eyes, so he can't see really right now. And on top of that, it was like little things that would just like send me over the top. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't handle it anymore. And I find that I have to just kind of pull back a little bit and understand that it's time just to go, okay, Tonya, you sit down and watch this silly show with your son, or, read a book or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's that whole thing, we have to get so much stuff done. And I can't even imagine your situation and that full plate of yours that you still recognize that you need to pull back a little and then just kind of let some things go.
So do you have suggestions for people on, kind of how to handle when things are just crazy or just day-to-day stress issues?
In my own personal, experience with stress has been that I would just fly off the wall, fly off. I had no internal strength to kind of channel the stress. It's cortisol. It's something shot into our blood that makes us, and if we can learn to allow that feeling internally without having it control us, we become so much more able to deal with our external stress. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you find that, because that makes total sense to me, because you can't alleviate it, right? Because it's just part of living, and there's, I would love for everything to be poof, perfect. But that's not reality,
Well, it's like being the eye in the tornado. It's when I work with clients, it's to recognize, number one, that you do have a body, but to recognize it internally. So when you start recognizing your own stress triggers, if your body is shaking or you're getting a pressure or your breathing changes, if you can stay with that and focus totally there, the external situation loses power over you.
Wow. Because I see people, when, especially something new that they have to do, say speakers, right? And they're doing the first TV show, they're like, or a first virtual summit or something. And they get so stuck in their head about what they perceive as what's going to happen to them or not, right? That they're just not in the moment.
Well, the projection really hurts. I mean, I've been on some kind of video shows for a little while, but I'm still have self-consciousness. I still have a little nervous pressure in my chest right now. And how do I look? I mean, it's all the self-conscious thoughts that are going through your mind until you get really good at this, like you are. So this is this whole self-conscious projections that we just do almost automatically. But the moment you recognize it, and the moment you kind of, I'm doing that thing again, and then and you can allow yourself to be you. Hey, this is who I am. Then outside things seems to just not have that much power. As a public speaker, like you say, when I work with people that has to go out for the first time, it's the internal and all the projections that actually is the challenge. It's not necessarily the people that's going to look at you.
Yeah. When I first did video, it was when I considered everything that I've done, because I've done some crazy things. I'm like, I don't think I would be able to do that. But I think video was the hardest, because I would sit there and the light would come. I had it all memorized what I was going to say. And the light comes on and I completely froze. And I was like, hello, I am Tonya Hofmann. I just turned into a robot. I'm like, who are you?
Yeah. Oh, and it's this whole, I think it's also in the immediate, there is no chance to record and redo it. It's like, if I'm blowing it, I'm blowing it. So that's part of it. I think the people that I work with the stress is the daily kind of ability to deal with the daily stress of life.
Right. Like getting up on time, getting to work on time, making sure things happen, make sure everyone gets fed.
Yeah, and also recognize that it is okay to delegate. Even as a mother, even as a wife, even, having house and business and stuff. It's this kind of strange fear that if we don't do it, it's not going to get done. Right. Well, what if you would just let it all fall for a couple of weeks and see what can get done without you doing it? And you'll be amazed how other people in your family and around you are quite capable of pitching in and helping you.
I know. I think one of the best things I ever did was hire a maid.
When I got my house clean, and I was like, oh my gosh, how much extra time I had.
I know. It's like, oh, my back doesn't hurt. And, it's like, this is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a lot. And even in your business, we may not dare to delegate. Do we trust people, or do they cost too much? And all those issues, and try it out. Try to have someone to just do a little bit of what you do in your business, and you'll see how much time, you just free up.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. And when you're really looking at kind of all the abilities that we have to allow people to help us, because most of the time people really do want to help. Yeah. They just haven't ever been asked, right?
And they're genuinely honest. It's not like they want something from you. It's like really interesting how many people are just helpful.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, when you start to, because I've talked to people just starting out, to big name speakers, and everybody they're inquisitive. They want to know more. They want help, and even the people that you're like, oh, they got it all together. They don't. They have their own stresses, because you start distancing yourself from people because they think that you're somehow so different, and you become very isolated. So there's a different type of stress as you become more and more successful, and I think it's learning how to adjust it. So when you help people with stress, what do you do for them?
So the first thing, even through Skype this works, is to, as we meet, we just sit down and we spend a couple of minutes of, what are you noticing in your body right now? Like even you, Tonya, like right now. How aware are you of your body? Are you in it? Do you feel it? And it kind of makes a person, oh, wait a minute, I wasn't really thinking about my body right now. Well, look, wait a minute, let me see, So there is this thing, this habit of us just kind of being in our heads all the time. So as you start settling down, and just literally, it's almost like you surrender into yourself, like the hourglass, the sand, you just kind of, you will notice sensations. And in my world, those are the sensations that drive you throughout the day. Those are the unconscious little tingles and pressures and itches and things that have you behave in a certain way.
Wow. So when you're telling people to look at just their kind of their being, right? Instead of just always, what do I need to do? Is where are you at this point? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and there is a trick. I teach them the stop, drop, check. And I say, if whatever situation you have in the day, you stop and you scan your environment and tell yourself, am I safe? If you're safe physically, number one, that's great. But am I safe emotionally? Do I feel threatened? Am I in a conversation right now where I feel emotionally threatened, psychological, whatever it is? So you stop and am I safe? Then you drop. You literally let go of your breath. You don't, but you, and then you check. What am I feeling in my body right now? And I tell you, in the midst of an argument, if your boss is yelling at you, if you're whatever, in the midst of traffic, you can do that. And as your whole attention goes inward and what am I feeling in my, I have a stomach ache. Oh, I didn't know I was breathing shortly. You will find out how you're feeling. And when you stay connected to how you're feeling, you're moving into the moment. And then your external stresses kind of, and you can start looking at them from a different perspective because you're not stressed anymore. And you're not reacting like a pinball. You're more centered internally, and now you kind of know how to respond rather than just, putting out fires.
Wow, I love that. So does it also work with, because I know a lot of people when they're, they get all inside their head, and they're like fretting about stuff that makes no sense at all. And the fears that come up, that kind of technique would help them with that too, right?
Well, I really suggest it because fears are, projections. Fears is something that we're trying to avoid in the future. I mean, even if it's 5 minutes from now or 10 years from now, doesn't matter. Fear about what's going to happen, and then fear or regret from what I've done in the past. Oh my gosh, am I going to do it again? All that stuff is not in the moment. There is no fear right here, right now. It's a second from now. It's 5 minutes from now. It's the moment you allow your brain to think about all the stuff that could happen. That's when the fear starts arising. And it's just the adrenaline, You get an adrenal shot right into your bloodstream and you...
Wow.
So in that moment, and you feel your own power.
That's amazing. So, okay, wow. I never thought about it as being kind of head versus body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is what you're saying, is you got to look at the little telltale signs. Does it work with like intuition? Because I know a lot of people just never listen to their intuition because they never listen to it.
Yeah. And often we've been trained, so we're conditioned not to listen to our body. And if you Google on the second brain, you will see that our intestines has as many neurotransmitters as the cat's brain, as they say. There are neurotransmitters we transfer all the time from our intestines to our brain to pick up our environment. But if we're not listening to those, we are not picking up what really is going on. Wow. You see, it's like a bad Skype connection.
I like that.
And we're not listening to our body.
So when you're listening in and you're like taking in all of what's going on around you and everything, do you have to kind of prioritize certain things, that's kind of happening? Or is it just about, being in the moment and just taking everything kind of with not a grain of salt, but you know what I mean?
Well, think about if you have 10 thoughts roaming in your head, you have a list of 10 things to do. Even if you have organized them, and I'm going to drive in a circle, I'm not going to drive back and forth. I mean, you have it all organized, but you're so stressed out. Maybe you're running late, you're stuck in traffic. You cannot really do anything about your situation, but you can feel better about it and calmer about it by just dropping internally. And when you drop internally, it's almost like you're noticing your brain calming down. And you can say, wait a minute now, this is not rational. I have 10 things to do. I obviously only have time left for 3. And it will come to you. It's the weirdest thing. It will just bubble up that the biggest bubble will come first. Well, this I have to get done.
Yeah.
The same way as we prioritize, but in more of an intuitive way.
Love it. So how did you get involved with all of this?
I was a mess. I was crazy. I had a life of abuse and beatings and blah, 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 and alcoholism. And I stopped all of that and ended up with myself, with a feeling of my skin was on fire. My chest was, I was totally overwhelmed by my body's sensations, and I had no medication. I had been numb since I was 13. And at 32, I suddenly came to, and oh my gosh, then I had a daughter, at 10 months later, and then I had to turn off her life support 2 months later.
Oh.
So it was just this, someone pulled my skin off, and everything in life was lemon juice.
Wow.
So I had to learn something. I got pregnant again, and they threw me into therapy to protect my unborn child. That's kind of a sad but true thing.
Wow. That must have been, people, because people, everyone has different experiences in life, and they just see us as we are today, right? They don't see us and what we've gone through, because a lot of those things I can totally relate to. And yet we have our own uniqueness. And that's why I love talking to people, like yourself and others, that you've lived a life I can't live. And we come through it in a certain way that you've learned things that I haven't learned yet, and vice versa. And we can share this incredible gifts that we've learned with each other.
Oh, absolutely. And there is no scale on pain. I hear losing a child is, horrible. Well, I haven't lost my husband. I know some people, I mean, it's like, we can't compare it.
Yes.
It's the way we go through it. But after 16 years of therapy, breath work, and all this, I was still crazy, raising 2 more kids. Wow. And what really got me to calm down was to learn this, was to learn to actually learn how am I feeling in my body. Because that was 90% of my battle. Yeah. It wasn't external stuff.
Yeah.
I'm married to a soldier that's gone through ranger school. He teaches me you can only think about one thing at a time. Pick a choice.
Wow.
And focus there. He has learned stress management to a level where I don't even know I can ever go to.
That's incredible. Because I know, I was at an event speaking, and it was about kind of the traumas of life. And so everyone was getting up on stage and telling everyone about what had happened to them. And one of my friends was in the audience, and we were walking down the street after the event, and she had heard my story. I've been robbed and tied up when I was 6 months pregnant. I've gone through cancer.
Oh my gosh.
There's all kinds of things. Those are the nice things that have happened. You're like, oh, that's no big deal. And to her, she felt so bad because the worst thing that really had ever happened to her was that she got fired from her big job. And she's like, I feel so bad that I keep telling people about my, that I lost my job. When y'all have gone through all of this, I said, but that was your story. You can't compare your life and your story. It was just as traumatic for you, obviously, as me going probably through cancer. So don't compare.
And I really love this whole idea because I start hearing, when people talk about their trauma, if you still hear anger or you still hear pain or things like that, it's almost like they're still in it. And what I have learned through this somatic thing is that we can sit and talk about it for the rest of our life. If we don't let go of the somatic body cellular memory, we're still stuck there. I can still listen to a little, infant baby cry and I can get a little woof of, whoa, but it doesn't control me. And the late Debbie Ford said, I have a story, but that's not who I am.
All right.
And that's the whole thing, that if we still identify with our story, it's like we're wearing this badge of honor, being a survivor, but we're still looking at the waves behind the boat. We're still not turning forwards and saying, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to look for the next iceberg instead of just flying into it because I'm so focused on my recovery.
Yes.
You see?
And for me, a lot of it was letting go of perfectionism. That's why one of my rules for my association is you can't be perfect.
That makes me so grateful.
Because I just realized, this is who I was going to be. And all those people that were wanting me to do things just perfect, I could never get to that level. And I'm like, why am I even trying? This is who I am. Get over it. So, it's about figuring out, I think a lot of it is who you really are and what's really important to you. And if it means, making sure everything is spelled correctly, and does it really matter? Because if I use there instead of there, people are going to know what I'm talking about. They're going to still get my idea.
And I think you really said it when you say to other people, get over it. The challenge is for us to get over ourselves, because the toughest judge is still me. Even if the whole society put down their whip and they no longer have any demands on me, I have picked up the whip and I keep on doing their jobs. It's like until I finally say, I'm over myself. Here is my story. It's in this book. I can read it to you, but then I'll close it and I will stick it on the shelf because that's not who I am.
I love that.
This is who we are. Right now, you and I talking, that's who we are.
Love it. And I know you have like an amazing gift you're going to give the listeners. What is that?
I do give Q&A sessions. They're 30 minutes and I charge for them, but I'm giving it free today just because you're so awesome to have me on your show. And the thing is that in that Q&A, I also offer just a mini session of the stop, drop, check and help people really get guided in to see if this is the kind of work they want to do with me in the future. Because it saved my life. It saved my marriage. It saved my relationship with my kids. It's a fabulous emotional and somatic awakening.
Love it. That is so incredible. So how do they get in touch with you? How do they take care of this offer?
Well, they can call me at 510-825-7574. So grab the pen that I taught to say. So 510-825-7574. And they can also email me at Eva, EVA, I know it's spelled EVA, at BEAM, BEAM, lifecoaching.com. And go
Perfect.
to my website. There are some programs there and everything. But first, really call me and get that free 30-minute. It's a mini session with Q&A, and you really get to, center yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. So y'all make sure that you take advantage of that because, oh my gosh, who wouldn't want to just talk to her anyways, right? So why not? You get a chance to see how to get in your body and out of your head. And I also would love for everyone to be a part of the association. We have so much fun. We would love to have you on my TV show. We have a virtual summit every month. We do these fun how-to-a-thons, which are series of webinar tips, all these things that help you market yourself. We're constantly sending out speaking opportunities. I know I'm about to send out another host set. So we do that, usually once or twice a month, a whole series of them that are coming up that you can apply for. And then lots of training, and we've got chapter meetings. We do a lot with the association. So go check it out. Public Speakers with an S, association, all spelled out.com. And while you're there, and when you sign up as a member, this time, when you're listening to this TV show right now, I'm going to give you a huge offer. So we always have our huge public speakers conference every year in the end of June. So we're getting it all figured out right now. We're looking at Vegas. So who doesn't want to go have fun in Vegas? And even if you don't like Vegas, you can still have an incredible time meeting the most amazing people in the world. And you get a free ticket to join the Public Speakers Association. So you have to join at the featured speakers level, which is our top level. And really it's very inclusive and you get so much at that level. And put in the coupon code free conference 2017. Free conference 2017. And if you can't make it this year, don't worry, we'll just add that ticket to next year. All right? So take advantage of that. Let me know if you have any questions. Contact me anytime through the website, and we'd love to have a chat. Thank you, Eva, for being on today and being my fabulous guest.
Tonya, thank you so much for taking the time with me. I just love you and what you do for all of us. So this is just an honor. Thank you.
Yay. All right, everybody. We will see you next time with another fabulous guest on the Tonya Hofmann's fabulous TV show. So have a great day. Go out there, wow yourself today because you only have this day to do it. All right? Go out there, have fun. Bye. Bye, Eva.
Bye.